into his brain. Welcome into his frequency. Enter at your own risk. Come be at peace with me. Ask the Paul, where we rise and don't fall.
Wow, you don't realize just the regular conversation that you have in person to person, brother to brother, friend to friend, how impactful it really is.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I want to focus on that's why I like talking to Dion, because we always talk about men just need to get back to being men.
Yeah.
But I want us to have these conversations so that young men know, somewhat how we supposed to operate.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Give them the tools, give them the jewels. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we used to have. Like, I used to like having those conversations with my dad or my uncle.
Yeah.
Now we're in a social media era, not so many people are getting those one-on-ones. So at least there needs to be some type of conversation where they can go and at least get that.
For sure. And so let's set it up real quick. I'm gonna keep all that because I think that was good, but let's just set it up. Welcome back, or welcome to a special episode of Baxter's Buzz. We have a joint podcast today. It is Baxter's Buzz and also the life and times of Troy and Hendrix.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, fam? Y'all doing all right?
We're doing all right, man. Enjoying this holiday season. Glad to be here. Yes, sir.
No, I'm glad
we can finally make this happen.
Look, we we could talk about it, but then somebody got to, put the play in motion, right? So no, we here now. I'm excited to get to know y'all a little bit more. We got some topics we want to go through, but also it's just gonna be like we were just talking about. We need places where we feel comfortable, but we also could be held accountable, right? Where it's like, we get one cosign, one endorsement with our ridiculous thoughts, and it's like, yeah, Trevor said it was cool. Trevor know what I'm saying, and now it's legit. Now that you can't be budged, and it's like we need people to say, nah, I'm not sure about that, or tell me more how you feel that way, or whatever, because we can't just have people beating us down, but we can't have people just being like, yeah, whatever you say, bro, because that's not going to lead to any growth either, You
need that checks and balance, man. Like, I think one of my things that kind of stuck out to me that my brother told me years ago, that I was out here dating, and I think I was holding myself in high regards. But I told him, I was like, yeah, because I'm a stand-up guy. And he told me, he was like, one, never say that about yourself. He said other people should say that about you, bro. And it kind of just brought me down to the ground. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Damn.
But you have to have that.
Yeah, I needed that.
That's necessary to, like we talking about us as men, like for our development, it's necessary to have that person or to have that relationship with the individual to where you can vent, you can be yourself. This word that I've been hearing all year, and it's really resonating with me now. Someone that will be accountable with you, hold you to a standard. That's the thing, being held to a standard. If you care about a person, you want them to do better. So
sure.
If we have to really implement that in all facets, really holding our friend to a standard.
Yeah, because what are we? We were talking a little bit offline about, my group of friends that I grew up with, y'all cousin Dion, Ezra, and the rest of the guys. Shout out to the Fantastics. We challenged each other, and we were very serious. Like, we were silly and we were kids, but we were very serious too. So we would talk about life and what we wanted life to look like and what the future, and it was really weighty. And some people would be around and they would see one side of us and they'd be like, oh, I want to kick it with y'all. And then they'd be like, whoa, like it was too much for people. Yeah, because the conversations were very, and so some of the things we look back on now, it's like, wow, we talked about this, the nonprofit, the scholarship stuff that we're trying to do, the mentoring. It's like, man, we talked about this as 18 and 19-year-olds. And at 15 and 16, there were things that we knew that we needed that we didn't have, that it was like, man, we want to learn. We just wish somebody would be around to sort of give that game and like pour into us the way we want to, help the youth. So that's why we're trying to do some of those things. So it's just really cool to see. And I'm, super grateful that a lot of us are still close and we're still, we still had that respect for one another, that we can still check each other.
That's big.
And be like, yo, you got more in the tank. You could be doing more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's beautiful to have that, because I think without that, you get what I'm saying, you can get lost. Yeah. And I've seen it when some people, they start to get a little bit older, get some things, and it's like, man, like you done veered way off the path from where you come from, man. You get what I'm saying? That's not us. So I definitely have that with my brother, and I have that with my cousin Anthony. We call him Mr. Ironically, we're all basically about a month and 6 days apart. Right. And we grew up close, so we get the triplet. Yeah, we call ourselves the triplet. Is whenever we just get around each other, man. Like you said, we bouncing from religion, sports, relationship, building, finances, the type of conversation that we were having years ago, we're having now, and to see those things starting to get put in place, like you said, it's a beautiful feeling. But what he touched on the whole, and I know we got to be forward with the time, but
no, we good.
That whole competition, aspect amongst friends and brothers, like if you use it the right way, yes, it can really be beautiful. Like me and this guy, and of course, that's what siblings do, but me and this guy, for sure, to the T, have always challenged each other, have always held each other to a standard, have always been hard on each other, but lastly, have always been willing to meet the other person where they were at and pull them up and get them there. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was in any life. I mean, whether it was, you helping me with an interview or you getting me a job at Pizza Hut and being in the same person, like, hey, man, with your grades and with this degree, you need to hurry the hell up and finish this. It's all been in the same breath, and it's been received because that competition, it all goes back to that standard we were talking about amongst, your friends and even with me and my brother. It was a standard that we had for each other and that we wanted each other, to have.
Yeah, I would liken that too, like, it was healthy and it was all based on love.
It was healthy.
Like you say, how you say, y'all had to validate everything, or he's going to push your argument, or he's going to question it.
Yeah.
We doing life, I feel, was out of love. And it's not to put him on the spot, but we had like an argument. And whenever we argue, sometimes we can go too far. But he had said something. And, and his words, I could tell like he was trying to cut me with it, because I felt like he was trying to hit me with a big blow before I got to him. And I was just like, bro, like, you got me twisted. Like, I would never even go that far. Like, you don't have to do that with me. Everything we have, if we compete, is going to be in love. I would never do anything to tear you down. I would never do anything to even go at your insecurities, because one, I know I'm the same way. I wouldn't want no one to do that to me. Right. So, no, if I'm talking to you about investments I'm doing or things I'm looking at, it's because I want to show you what I learned. It ain't gonna be on no corny nigga, you ain't on my level type stuff. I don't know if we can cuss, or forgive me my language if I said that, but it's not gonna be on no trying to sun you type stuff, right? Man. My favorite rapper is Jay-Z, and if you say everyone in your crew is rich, your crew is rugged, nobody will fall, everyone will be each other's crutches. So I want everyone around.
Nas don't have lyrics like that. Jay got lyrics like that, but Nas don't have lyrics like that.
Shots fired. But that's what I want. I'm at a part in my life where, as I get things, experience new things, I'm so happy. I feel free. I want everybody to feel that type feeling. Yeah, that's just where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, so I normally tell everybody this on this picture. This picture is from my mom that when she was in high school, and I just got this picture 2 years ago, December of 19. I never seen it. She passed away when I was 8. And so one of the best things that I did this year my wife is not crazy about it, but this was upstairs, and I took it and I put it in my office, and it's like when I see her, I think about how brilliant she was and how caring she was, and how one mistake or one decision can kind of throw you into a whole nother set of circumstances. And so when I think about my kids and how I know how proud she is of me, like it makes me feel like I got more to do, but I'm already doing so much. And it's like a reminder, you know what I mean? It's a reminder that, yeah, we got things that we focused on, but take a step back occasionally and look and see the progress that you made and pat yourself on the back. You can't spend too much time doing that, but it's important that you do, you know, understand where you came from and, you know, where you could have been if some of those lefts was rights, or maybe it was a left, but somehow you missed that thing that everybody else got caught up in. It's like, it's important. And I just feel like I just have a really good understanding of, like, I'm secure. I'm learning to be more secure in myself. And I'm already winning. I'm already winning.
You hit it on the head, man.
Yeah.
But you said the word. Like,
yeah.
It was ironic because the thing that you just said, I was talking about with my wife this morning. So many times we get caught up in, you know, wanting to do more, improve ourselves. And I'm like, no, we actually look at what you've accomplished. Look at what we've actually done.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You get what I'm saying? You need those moments, I feel, too, to let you know that, damn, you're on the right path to this. You get what I'm saying? I think these moments validate what we're doing is right, you know, because my wife, she's a event planner, and she's been doing real well. Shout out to the Top Pick Collective. But we looking at some type of other ventures that she might want to go into. And, you know, sometimes each step is a little more risk. But one thing I told her is, well, look at what you did when you was in college at 21. Yeah. Look what you did at 23. Look what you did at 25. Look at what you only been doing for 4 years. Yeah. And look what it's grown into. Yeah. So it's like, whatever you down with, I believe in you because your track record is proven. So don't beat yourself up on what you don't have. Look at the things you have done. That's validated, letting you know what you're doing is right. So, you know, what's your thought?
Well, so that's a good segue. Trevor, talk about just this year. You know, we got a couple of days left in 2021. What when you look back on the year, like, what are some of the things you mentioned, like the accountability word that's been this thing that's been coming, like what else when you think about the year you know, the 2021 as a whole, like what are some of the things that you think about that's impacted you?
Number one, having a child. So that whole accountability thing really strikes home because on June 24th, you know, I had my daughter this year. So
congratulations.
My life has totally been changed from that, where, you know, my mental, even to, you know what I'm saying, my finances, to go from really being all about me to having to change your priority overnight. It's an adjustment, you know, but that whole understanding your priorities and holding yourself accountable and allowing other people to hold you accountable. I've struggled with that this year, but I got a great support system. You know, my brother, my sister, my mother, we can argue and I can argue with them and be at their necks, and they take the blows and give them right back and make sure that it's productive. You know, so I mean, this year has been crazy. You know, we've done. I mean, I've had my daughter, but then also getting in the potty, something that I never really thought that I would be into.
That's funny because I have the media and communication background, and he's more of a math guy. So to see him attack this full on, that's why I say, like, my hat's off is to him and just his consistency and just the time he's put into it.
Yeah, but just getting into potting in general, like we were a part of another podcast, and
shout out to More Than Money.
Shout out to More Than Money podcast. It really is a beautiful thing. I'm not gonna say was a beautiful thing because that thing is alive and well. But
still doing their thing.
To just be in those moments, that camaraderie, that magic that was, put on those episodes, that was beautiful. But also just really understanding, like learning, and really understanding mistakes that were made, and trying to really do better from them. Like this year has really been an experience, you know what I'm saying? At least from all extremes, man, for real.
So what got you guys into podcasting? Like, what you said you never thought you would do it. Why are you doing it? Why are you guys doing it? And then now the Life and Times podcast, like, what made you decide that you want to continue this once you guys went your separate ways from your other podcast that you started with? Like, why are you still in this potting game? Why you just getting your feet wet?
It's twofold. Like, number one, shout out to David Hoskins. I have to do that. I got into potting because it was something that he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I just simply said, I'm down. We family will do it. So I will always pay him that respect, because I wasn't even thinking about it. He was just like, I want to get a soundboard. And I was like, I got the money. And we went from there. When Life and Times came about, it was pretty much like I was in potting somewhat. I had been a little bit successful. We did like 15 episodes.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, let's just see what we can do. And now it's more of, we have an identity now. So I just want to really put some work into myself, really just betting on yourself, really.
Yeah.
I go to work like the average person, and I do well at my job, but I just wanted to pour into myself. I wanted to, a year from now, be able to see the fruits of my own labor.
Sure.
And that's why.
Sure. Troy.
Yeah, I would say for me, is weird. Like I keep liking it, referencing the conversation I had with my wife, and we was talking about my son Tristan, and we were saying he's going to be great because he's me, but he's going to have what my wife has, and she can focus. Me, one of my weaknesses is I can be lazy at times or content. So for me, complacent. I always wanted to get into media. I had the background at a radio show when I was in college, Urban Exchange. But I always wanted to do it. I just never, because I'm a person, I can get caught up in my life. I work in 12 hours at work. So sometimes on the weekend, I'll be like, man, I just want to chill when I got my downtime. But the fact that seeing my brother's focus, and he was adamant about doing the podcast, and he wanted to bring me on, I was like, man, this is getting back to my roots. So it was just really, and then I did other podcasts before things kind of fell apart. One I did was Sports and Social, Sports and Other Ish. But the politics, man, sometimes you do things with guys and you got to pay, they ain't bringing their money to the table.
Yeah.
It can get frustrating. Yeah. But knowing that this is my brother, I'm not going to let him down. He's not going to let me down. In fact, I just want to be able to do it. And it's fun, man. I just always want to just be able to get my perspective on things. We have these conversations every day amongst our friends. Yeah.
Right.
Why not broadcast this? These are the conversations people not showing. Social media is filled with so much cap and fakeness. No, man. Broadcast the real. And that's what I want to do.
Potting, I mean, potting is so important because you are just seeing a growing interest for people, everyday people, that they're stepping away from cable. They're stepping away from, the traditional networks. Most of the time, people is going on YouTube or they're going on social media so they can watch other people do the same thing that they're doing.
Yep.
Most people just want to go on. My mother goes on YouTube and watch other people do some of the same things she's doing, sitting around the house, having general conversation, talking about God. People there's an interest in that, and we might as well have a hand in that.
Yeah, you know what I think about. I mean, so we talked about a little bit. I'll wake up and like my brain will be like on fire. I'll have so much to say, or it'll be these thoughts that I don't even know how I feel about it. It's just like I'm just like inspired, and I'm just and it's like, okay, so I'll be texting. I may be texting with 2 or 3 of my closest people, just telling them kind of what I'm on.
Yep.
That's a blog post, right? All the stuff I didn't wrote just off the top of my head. Those, or if I have a phone conversation, that's a podcast post. It's like the documentation. I wanted to document more of how I feel. I think about my kids a lot. And again, telling my mom, like, I want them to be able to read things, see things, and be like, dang, that's what my dad was on at that time.
Yeah,
And if there are other people that find inspiration in it or that can relate, that's even more of a blessing. It's like, oh, wow, people actually are having these similar conversations.
Right.
You think it was just you and your people having these, and you realize, wow, a lot of people are going through the same thing. And I may be able to provide some perspective that they didn't look at, or just another person that make you feel like you're not on the island. Sometimes we feel like we're the only ones thinking these things, and social media is good to kind of bring those communities together, but it's also can be bad because it's so much fake stuff that's going on that it's good and bad, just like most things,
Man, with this pandemic, one thing that I know that has been heavily affected is like that was very huge in my childhood. Was I just remember being dropped off at like the barbershop and hearing men talk about certain issues or certain current events or what was on their mind. Like my barber in Chicago, he was really like my therapist. So I look at how the pandemic has really even affected that, as far as the small barbershop talks that we used to have, that just aren't there anymore because of, COVID and social distancing and certain protocols, that these platforms are necessary because they fill those voids. Mm-hmm. Those voids, men and people have to have outlets. Shout out to I Am Athlete, because I remember getting that from Brandon Marshall. I was listening to him. But we have to have outlets, the systems in place to be able to deal with our issues. When we were younger adults, manly, you take whatever, licks come your way and you just deal with it. But we're getting to that age to where there has to be more understanding involved so that you can really process certain issues. So I have to have this platform. We have to have our platform to be able to let people know that these thoughts, these feelings are normal and they can be worked through.
Right. And encourage people to, they may need professional help. They just may need to communicate with the people. They may already have resources, friends, family that they're not really, connecting with or whatever. They may need to go see somebody professionally, but it's okay. Right? It's okay.
That can no longer be the elephant in the room, like therapy and seeing someone and talking to someone. We as Black people, we have to really embrace that. That's normal. That's okay. That's healthy. That's being proactive. We have to stop shunning that. And we do a lot of that.
And I can speak on it from firsthand experience. Like, I've been talking to my therapist for about a year. And I think those are some of that 1 hour that I get every Wednesday. It helps me because it's sometimes that I'm going through some stuff I might not even want family to know.
Right.
So to being able to release these things to a person and they helping you work your way to a solution, or it might just be, I need to get it out. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of times with me, my problem back in the past was I will hold all of my anger in, or I will hold in all of these thoughts. And then by the time it do snap, it's all coming out at once.
Yeah.
Whereas each week now, I'm able to let all that go. And it helps me clear my mind for the rest of the week, that I'm not keeping all that in.
Yeah.
So I really try my best now to really move forward, not be as stressed out. We're always going to have things that attack us and is going to be trying to get us off our square. But the fact that I'm able to have as clear as a mind to deal with these things, it allows me to take on more. I'll put it like that.
Yeah.
I can take on more and don't feel as overwhelmed.
Because you're processing this stuff as it comes, and it's not this backlog of
Thank you.
Trauma that you're suppressing, you know.
Facts.
Talk about this year for you, Troy. Like, what are some of the things that you think about as highlights or just lessons, you know, themes?
No, real quick, because I just wanted to throw this. I'm sorry I keep interjecting, but Baxter, you touched on it, and he just brought it up as far as what was impactful for us for 2021. If anybody did not get a chance to see it, it's about 20 minutes worth of the 3-hour and 21-minute episode of Drink Champs with Big Sean when he was on there. He talked about the whole Kanye thing, but the one thing that he did emphasize was how he couldn't let that weight be on his heart. He had to let, like, he had his lawyers, he had to let people do his job, because he just had to make it up in his mind that he couldn't let that stress, you know what I'm saying, wear on his heart, you know. And that was big for me, just understanding that, yes, there's things that are going to piss you off and make you upset, but you can't allow those things to take you out of character and stress you out to the point to where it takes you off your A game. And there's a lot of opportunity in 2022 for me to address that. So that resonated with me.
No, man, that was, you know, that was a really important interview.
Yeah.
Because I felt like, you know, I try to be the more mature one, the bigger person. Many times I'll be the one to reach out first, or I may be the one to maybe acknowledge my role in something. But this is like, I ain't no saint. I'm saying typically this is what I'll do, and I don't mind it. But when you're dealing with people that aren't acknowledging any of their role in it,
gosh,
you feel crazy. You feel like,
thank you.
You feel weak. You know what I mean? You feel like somebody's taking advantage of you.
Man, you speaking to my soul,
and,
man.
And it's like you want to be like, let's try to get past this. And I felt like I was like watching Sean, and I was like, I could identify with his admitting his role in some things, even though I was a little bit annoyed with the framing, some of the stuff that the way they were asking him these questions.
Yeah, right.
It was like, yeah, bro. Yeah, he's accepted some responsibility, but there's another piece of this that somebody, the other person may not be as willing to acknowledge, and it's like, damn, I look crazy. I feel crazy, but when you know that you're doing the right thing, you can't worry about that.
Yeah.
And I was sort of like watching it, admiring him, and also thinking about how people who aren't as evolved is the way I kind of look at it.
That's the word you said. That's what we was talking about last time offline.
Last time we talked. They aren't there yet. They just aren't there yet.
He stayed very composed. Like, I mean,
your camera went off. I'm not sure what happened.
Oh man.
All
right, let me see.
This means
we're recording.
Okay, it's
got it. Are we back?
Yeah.
Ironically though, talking about Big Sean, going back to your question, that's kind of what I learned this year. You get what I'm saying? Like, talking about being evolved, I'm always the first person to try to please people.
Yeah.
ease the situation. Like he'll talk about all the time. Like we have had conflicts with family members, and I'll be like, bro, just get over it, you know, or try to come to a solution because we're only strong as a unit. Right. But I'm not gonna lie, it's times that I'll be like, damn, bro, are you being weak in this situation? Yeah. Is this a time that you let an MF know what time it is? Like you're not the one to be trifled with. Yes, but through all of that though, it just really taught me to keep being myself. You get what I'm saying? And that even if I don't get the solution that I'm getting from that individual, I can at least have solace and that I at least know I tried. Mm-hmm. And that it wasn't me trying to let things be the way they are. And it also makes me realize too, sometimes, man, situations just affect people differently. And I can't, no matter how hard I try, no matter the good argument I put up, intentions I have, I can't force them to think how I'm thinking. Right. All I can really do is just be happy with the effort I did, try my best to ease that situation. But at that same time, it is something that's going to have to click in their brain to help them, you know, get through that as well.
The forgiveness piece, that's for us. That's not for them. And we again, Trevor, you mentioned you can't carry that weight. Even though. So let me plug this book because I think it's important. And it's helped me. It's been very helpful for me. The book is called Crucial Conversations.
My best friend just gave me that book.
Okay, I was going to tell you should read it. The thing that I learned more than anything, you know how sometimes it's just one lesson that you learn, right? Yep. What are we trying to accomplish? Mm-hmm. So the book starts, one of the first stories that the book tells is about one of the writers talk about their daughters and went to an amusement park. They got back to the hotel and they're both fighting over who needs to go to the bathroom first. So they fighting for a half hour about who needs to go to the bathroom. Clearly, they could have both gone to the bathroom in this 30 minutes they've been fighting, right? But they were so caught up in the fight, they forgot what the goal was. And so, you know, I am practical, but I'm also a very emotional, sensitive person. So, you know, what y'all young folks say, I go off of vibes, right? I have a very high emotional intelligence, so I'm paying attention to certain things, but I also am learning that, you know what, let's make sure we're focused on what we're trying to accomplish, right? Yes. As opposed to how I may feel about it. Let me not get my ego in the way of whatever we're trying to accomplish, because ultimately we can either have a battle of egos or we can try to move this ball forward, whatever that may
be. And I think that's one thing where I will, even though it might hurt sometimes, but I have the humility to take that step back and make sure that things get moved forward. You get what I'm saying? Like I had to talk to my therapist sometimes, or like some type of relationships that I may be dealing with, whether it may be marriage, work. And it's like, man, I really had to fall on the knife to make sure that this thing kept moving forward. And it really pissed me off. But sometimes it's just letting me know that that's just ego. A lot of those things, man, you know, it won't matter, you know, as we look forward.
Let me say this. Let me get my old man on and just say this, because here's the thing that I think that I struggle with. Troy, you kind of acknowledged that you have a similar mindset. There are certain boundaries though that need to be established and maintained too, right?
I like that.
So we need to know we need to be mindful. I'm sorry, my 5-year-old is in here.
It's all good.
Out. Not right now, okay? Close my door, please.
I don't want this.
Okay, you take it off out there, okay? So when I first got married, I had been accused of being confrontational and like not just by my wife or my girlfriend at the time, fiance, but just certain people felt like I was calling them out, and it was like I was attacking them, and I never, it was me communicating with them the way I wanted people to communicate with me.
Understandable.
But you can't communicate with people the way you want to be communicated with. You got to communicate with people the way they want to be communicated with.
Right.
So
and that's what I'm with. Keep going.
So if I allow somebody to step inside of a boundary, cross a boundary, and I don't do anything for the sake of not having that confrontation, we both lose.
Yeah.
If we are in a relationship and we care about each other, because now I'm allowing you to reset my boundaries, and I'm resenting that. But I think in my brain, I've, happy wife, happy life. I've avoided a conflict. Mm-hmm. Some conflict is good.
Right.
Some things aren't important.
Yes.
And they need to be moved past. And some things, it's like, no, yeah, we need to just confront this and deal with it so that my boundaries are still my boundaries.
Right. And not to go off on a quick tangent, but these are the things that I feel like conversations need to be had for people that's looking towards marriage, being in relationships. Mm-hmm. We get caught up on provider or submissive that we don't even realize how to deal with damn conflict. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Summing it up, when to let something go, establishing boundaries. You also focused on the outer of who get a damn plate of chicken first, that we got to realize how to actually function within these relationships. Yeah. And those are the type of things that need to be established to be, and I can just be transparent. I haven't had a conversation about boundaries, and I've been married next year be 9 years. I just celebrated 8, but you will avoid a lot of things if those are established. You get what I'm saying?
Well, wow. People need to know where you stand on things. And yeah, I was, I used to think that me avoiding that thing was a win, but it's not. That something. It's not, because it's coming back. It's like every bad scary movie you've seen. That monster coming back. Like that closet gonna open up at the worst time. At the worst time, it's coming back. So it's like my approach was so different than my wife's approach. As far as how to deal, like I said, everybody I was ever around, it was always this constant sparring, this mental and verbal sparring. And it was a lot for my wife to kind of deal with, like, why are you like this? You know what I mean? Like, why are you always... And it wasn't anything... It didn't feel like anything. It was just the way we all were. Yeah. And so then I went 180 and let everything go. And it was like, that wasn't the move either, but I didn't realize it.
No.
I didn't realize it because I didn't feel good about it.
Hell yeah.
My wife is probably looking at me like, this ain't the guy I fell in love with. Like, yeah, I don't like him to be too headstrong and too of a know-it-all, but I do like the energy that he had. I don't have that.
Those things and those qualms that we sometimes have with people, that's what attracted us to them. And I look at it with my wife, like, I hate how bullheaded she is, but that's what attracted me to her. You get what I'm saying? Because it was that mindset that she had. It even sometimes, whereas it was things I didn't think I could do, she told me I could do. Yeah. And those was the things that inspired me. So when I get mad at her about this whole drill sergeant type attitude, it's just really her. I can't really put it in words, but I just say her goal and the way she strives for greatness and the expectations she has. That's what it is. Those expectations she had, like, I wouldn't take it away from her, even though it sometimes has pissed me off. I wouldn't want her to do a complete 180 and just now everything is okay. I'm gonna look at her like, what the hell?
Right.
Bring her back.
And you're gonna suffer from it because you benefit from that. You already said, I be getting complacent. I'm not always on top of my stuff. That's that balance that you need.